What's up, guys? Today we're going to break down Caleb Williams' performance against the Washington Commanders on Monday Night Football. Because the Bears are on a 3-game winning streak and Caleb's on pace to put up historic stats, for a Bears quarterback at least. But the performance has been really bad, and it's been bad for two reasons. One, Caleb doesn't get it. He's not seeing things properly, he's not seeing them quickly enough, his pre-snap diagnoses are wrong, and therefore his first reads are too often incorrect. And he's frankly just late. He doesn't have a grasp of what he's doing yet. Additionally, even when he does, there are just little miscommunications, little brain farts, and really glaring inaccuracy. He's got a lot of talent, a lot of speed, a lot of agility, and a lot of arm strength, but his deep ball is terrible, his processing is not good, and there's just a lot to be desired. He's leaving a ton of meat on the bone, and Bears fans were really angry with how, biting Troy Aikman was. Troy Aikman was fucking harsh during the game, but it was deserved, and I'm going to walk you through step by step why that was the case. So, without further ado, let's get to the film. First play of the game, and Caleb's just going to miss. Now, it's hard to tell if Caleb is just going to be, if he's off target, if there's a miscommunication about where he's supposed to settle, or, from the broadcast angle, maybe he's trying to throw the ball to Rome Odunze, and spoiler alert, he really should, right? Let's rewind a little bit. So the play calls for Odunze to run this little wrap over, and then you're going to have a little slanted hook by Zaccheaus. On the outside, you're going to have a streak to stretch the field, and then your motion man is going to run a wheel route kind of coterminally. The idea behind this play is that, and then you're just going to swing out with your running back. Everything is flooding to the bottom of the screen. You're trying to pull the defenders apart and then throw it back to your running back with, an empty field ahead of him. Or just figure out which zones get pulled apart by this scheme. Now, you have single high safety, middle of field closed. It looks like it's probably going to be cover 3. And spoiler alert, it is. So we were right. This is basically what the defense is going to look like, which means you are going to have a really nice conflict right around here in the middle of the field. Either you're going to have your slot receiver, Zaccheaus, run right to the middle of these two linebacker zones and just sit down and wait for a ball, right? Because this linebacker and this linebacker are going to have a hard time figuring out who covers this hook. Also, this linebacker could carry with this over route, pulling him out of whack. That gives Zaccheaus the option to move across the field. In reality, both of these linebackers are just going to sit here and play vanilla, meaning Odunze will be wide open right around the middle of the field, right? Because this streak is eliminating this corner, right? This safety is going to get deep because he's afraid of the streak. This wheel route by the tight end, that's going to pull this corner out further and pull this safety over, meaning, let's declutter a little bit. Once again, this entire area of the field is going to be vacant. And Rome Odunze, who's, I guess, technically your wide receiver 1, he's going to be wide open. Now, this is a 2-route concept, right? You're either throwing to Zaccheaus, 14, slot bottom of the screen, or you're throwing to 15, Odunze on the wrap over. Right here, you see that the linebacker towards the top of the screen, he's staying with Rome, so he's pulled apart, and there's plenty of space in between the two linebackers for Zaccheaus to settle. Now, Zaccheaus settles a little bit short and not quite in the middle. I think that Caleb's right, and Zaccheaus should be a little bit further towards the middle of the field. But also, you can make a pretty good argument that you should be throwing to Rome Odunze here. Now, you don't go broke making a profit, but let's watch Caleb's eyes on the tight copy, because that's going to tell us everything. You'll see here, he's staring at Zaccheaus the whole time. He never even thinks to look at Rome Odunze, and that's fine. But what really concerns me is that right here in this frame, you can see from the feet, Zaccheaus has stopped moving, he is planted, he's done moving. and Caleb hasn't let go of the ball yet. So when Caleb throws this ball, Zacchaeus is a standstill target. He's not moving. And the ball is still too far upfield. And we see from Caleb's eyes that he's not considering Rome, which means that this is not a short throw to Rome, and it's not a mere miscommunication because Caleb saw his target stop moving. This is just Caleb having poor accuracy. We'll grade it as a routine throw, but it's a lot worse than that. And I've spent way too much time on just one play. Here is a routine throw, but I love the athleticism, the arm talent. It's nice to see it's a plus pocket movement to go with it. And you just want to highlight that Caleb does have physical talent. Here I have no idea what in hell Caleb is doing. This one is disjointed, right? It's man coverage, Caleb's hot, you've got extra rushers. I get it. But I can't tell if Caleb is trying to throw a slant to Burden and Burden gets hung up by 2 defenders, which would be bad on Caleb's part, or if he's just trying to throw with extra anticipation and throw a curl to a DJ Moore that isn't there yet. Either way, Caleb got pressured and really didn't know what to do. Right? He didn't bail out of the pocket. He didn't hit his running back. He just kind of flung it, and that's bad. Here we got motion. We got people moving around. It's probably some form of a match zone. And Caleb has a touchdown. He just doesn't hit it. And this is another problem with Caleb. It has nothing to do with the mentals. Caleb is just really, really terrible at throwing the deep ball. Always has been. Line of scrimmage is the 35. Right here, where Caleb's letting go of the ball. Let's even back up a little bit further. Right here, that's a clean-ass pocket. You might get hit after the throw, probably not. Rome is at the, let's call it, 48-yard line, and he's even, so he's leaving. Put that ball on the opposite 40, maybe the opposite 35, and you have a touchdown. I'm dead wrong with my estimations. It needs to be the 25 or the 20, not the 35 or the 30. My bad. Arithmetic is hard. What isn't hard is noticing that Rome Odunze has come to a complete and full stop, and despite the fact that he absolutely cooked his man in one-on-one coverage, Caleb's terrible throw turns it back into a 2-on-1 contested catch scenario, and Rome can't catch a ball through a human being's head. That's an incomplete pass, should have been a touchdown. It's completely and totally on Caleb Williams. There was no pressure, it's just terrible accuracy. Caleb's got the arm to throw further downfield than that, too. He just doesn't do it well. It's pretty nice. Now, it could be a better ball, and if it was, you probably get another 5 to 10 yards, but I don't really care. Right? Caleb lets go of this ball from the 42. Line of scrimmage is the 50. It gets caught at, let's call it the 30 for rounding purposes. It's a 20-yard throw. It's not perfectly placed, as we'll see from the tight copy, but that's good. First read, but that's good. Right? It's a little play action, and he knows right away he's going to DJ Moore. Now, here's the one issue I have with it. Do you see anything I might be seeing? It's second down, so everything's on the table. Where's Alamade Zacchaeus? Right, because you've got this natural scissoring motion. I'll diagram the play. So, once again, we're going to have DJ Moore on about an over route like yay. And once again, we're going to have a clear out from Odunze. This play is going to seem really familiar. We don't have the motion across from the tight end like last time, but it's still going to be a flat and then up. The key is that we have a deep corner right here from Zacchaeus. That is a terrible, terrible arrow. That's not much better, but we're going to deal with it. We once again have single high middle of field closed coverage, which means probably cover 3, maybe man. Now, it's difficult to tell if it's cover 3 or it's going to be cover 1 man, simply because there's no motion, and that's the cheat code, right? And like, it makes it really easy for me too. But it looks like we might have 5 rushers, right? Because otherwise, why do we have 2 corners? Right? Why do we have him and him both on one receiver? Looks to me like it's probably going to be a 5-man rush, in which case we're going to have single high and then man across the board. Or, we'll see. it's difficult to tell. Either way, you should be looking 1 to 2 in this area. This is where the play happens. The scissoring. Pause. When I said earlier you get this scissor action, it means we've got this red corner and this yellow over, and there's a point where they cross, and it kind of sets a natural pick, so the defenders run into each other, and like they got to pick. They got to choose while being picked by each other. Anyway, if it's man coverage, Zacchaeus is the play because he's going to be one-on-one on a corner route, which is essentially a deep route. You throw it very much the same way you throw a streak or a go ball or a fade, and that's a touchdown. It would be even more of a touchdown if it was Luther Burden, but I digress. If it's cover 3, you're going to want to throw that bend route, that wrap route, to DJ Moore because he's moving horizontally across the cover 3. You want to hit him in between the seams, right? So if it's cover 3, you're going to have a corner guarding this area, a safety guarding this area, and a corner guarding this area. That would take away your red corner route, but in this gap between these two third field DBs, you'd have this square, and this square is where you would hit DJ Moore, theoretically. Well, let's clean that all up. Looks to me like Caleb comes out of play action, and he just assumes it's cover 3. Although pretty quickly we can tell, yeah, that cornerback did blitz, so it's a 5-man rush. It's going to be man across with a single high safety. Right now, when Caleb looks up and sees that his line is one-on-one with rushers, you need to throw the corner. And right here, when he cocks back, if he throws this corner, I mean, like, it's a touchdown. It's wide open, right? Zacchaeus is running this way, so he's got a head start. He's further upfield and further upfield than Sanristil, the guy covering it. Loft that ball, basically put it right at the ref's feet, and count your points. Now, it is Caleb Williams, and he's terrible at throwing deep balls, so maybe he's hesitant for that reason, but that should not play into his calculus. Caleb doesn't notice that he's been gifted a touchdown. Caleb takes the second best option. And that's fine. But, once again, he's not really understanding his primary read. It's a 2-option play, and he never considered half the options. Right? He's staring at Moore the entire time, and the ball's a little bit behind. If you lead him, you get another 5 to 10 yards, and if you throw the ball to Zacchaeus, you get a touchdown. Just leaving meat on the bone, right? Like, it's not the end of the world, but it's frustrating that even after a bye, even after 6 weeks in this system, he's still making those same little mistakes. Right, here's another one. Caleb never thinks. Not for a second. I'm making sure it's second down again, so free play. You can do anything you want. And I don't know if Caleb is confused, right? I don't know if he thinks that this safety is high and therefore we're going to have some form of a middle field open coverage. But for me, this looks like one safety. We're probably either going to get man across the board again, or more likely, we're going to get cover 3. Maybe Caleb gets confused because he's got these two rushers walked up. So he's like, okay, I'm going to be hot. If I'm going to get blitzed, it's probably going to be some form of man. It's probably going to be, cover 1 blitz again. Regardless, poor job of diagnosing the defense means that Caleb's not going to get it. So when this number 4 coffee houses and he steps back, and instead of blitzing, it's just a regular ass cover 3 defense, Caleb is still operating like it's man. And if this were man, your easy answer, your easy solution, everything is, fuck it, big body receiver running a curl, that always wins. But if you're smart, and you know that you've got a cover 3 defense, right? If you've got this, look. You know what the best route in the world is? The Mike Wallace route that made careers? Slot streak. Not a fade. Don't get outside. Stay right between them. And then you throw that Dak Prescott seam ball right there. You fucking rip that bitch. And I don't know if you got a touchdown, but you're within spitting distance. And this isn't just hindsight, right? Like, we diagnosed this before the play, and we're not NFL quarterbacks. We're sitting in our living room. We saw single safety high. We're thinking this might be cover 3. The second that you see that defender bail out, right? The second that this guy, when this circled guy steps back out into a zone, that's it. As soon as you see that, it's from the tape. Right? Oh, he's coming. Oh, right here. Right here. He's already started backpedaling. This is when you should snap in your head and say, it's not man, it is zone. I got to get my sight back to the bottom of the screen. We're going to throw this streak. But he doesn't. He's got a clean pocket. He's got time. There's no rush. It's second down. You don't need the cheap yards. You had everything you needed. Now, again, I get it. You don't have to optimize every play, but it just keeps happening. Speaking of keeps happening, this is the exact same play from the first drive. That first play where Caleb kind of misses Zacchaeus. Well, now DJ Moore is running the wrap instead of Rome Odunze. But once again, Caleb is kind of throwing too far upfield. And this time it's absolutely on Caleb again. Because there's no room, right? Like, once again, the feet are getting set as the ball's coming out. But this time, like, there's not a lot of room upfield for Zacchaeus to be drifting. Right? He stopped at the right spot. I don't know. That's just bad. Whether it's accuracy or just really not understanding leverage, something's wrong. First read, routine throw, nothing to it. This is a good job of holding onto the ball, right? Caleb almost throws a pick here, but he thinks better of it. And good on him to notice. And he holds on and waits for the second window. And Odunze comes back open. That's a plus pocket movement. I give him credit for not fucking up. And then here, he just uses his legs. Neutral run. It's solid. I might even give it I think I gave it a positive. It's fine. You know how I keep saying, like, it's not the end of the world that Caleb's missing these things, but it's noteworthy that he's already missed them twice in this game? Well, here's a third one. Rome Odunze, touchdown. Line of scrimmage is right here. That's not an illegal man downfield. You can throw that. You can throw that still. But Caleb decides he's going to run. And you know what? Again, it's third down. You see the first down? Don't fuck around. Just go get it. That's fine. But you could have had a touchdown. But also, again, I get it. You just need the first. This is kind of a nice job by Caleb to, like, not get the ball batted. You know, he gets the ball up nice and high, lofts it around a defender. That's all lovely, but, like, it wasn't that hard of a throw. He faded away a little bit more than he should have. And then the ball's really inaccurate, and that ball's on the ground. It's not a catch. Once again, for the fourth time in this game already, Caleb leads Odunze way too far up the field. And this is also problematic because it's the second thing he looks at. It's not quite his first read. But he's way too early. He's throwing with way too much anticipation in a bad way. And he's not noticing DJ Moore wide open, uncovered. And that's the play side. That's the read one, right? You've got trips to the top of the screen. Everything's bunched up there in a flood. I call this a pom-pom, right? Because you got 3 tightly bunched receivers, and then they all kind of go in separate directions, right? And so it kind of looks like a pom-pom or a firework. Where they all explode out from the same center point. DJ Moore's wide open in the middle of the field. He's the first read. Hit the first read, but he misidentifies what's going on. He moves through the progression too quickly, and he never gets to his first read. Now we're on 4th and 1. Play action. Hit Odunze. Right now. Right here. Right now. Right here. Right now. But he waits, and he waits, and he waits, and he waits some more. And he waits, and he waits, and he waits until it's a pickable ball. Should have gone the other way. Now, Commanders aren't mad. It's 4th down. But look at this. Here's his play action here. He picks up his head. He's not looking at at anything, right? He's looking at the fucking streak, the clear out route. He should be looking at the flood, right? Like, the whole point of this play is that you're going to get, while I pick out my color, because I'm particular about colors, you're going to get a Dunze running a little slant, and you're going to get Zacchaeus running a little slant right under it. This is a flood, right? You're saying whoever it is, in this case, probably this linebacker or safety, whoever's supposed to be covering this center of the field, Dunze is going to pull him away. And then that'll create a void where he used to be. And that's where I slip the ball to Zacchaeus. I had it reversed. I forgot that there was motion. So again, little motion, slant, pulls this defender away. Underneath, you got Rome running a similar slant in his path. The only way that you should be looking off of the play action, the only way you should be looking out to your left on that streak, that decoy route, is if you think you have one-on-one coverage. But it's 4th down. Don't worry about that shit, dude. Right here. It's perfect. 14, Zacchaeus. He drags 2 defenders away. He drags 2 zones away from where you're going. Throw the fucking ball. Throw the fucking ball. Throw the fucking ball. Throw the fucking ball. So late. So late because he didn't pre-snap. He didn't recognize what his first read was supposed to be. Right? There's DJ Moore at the top of the screen, and there's Caleb looking at him the whole time. The whole time. Finally, Caleb resets his eyes, but it's too late. The ball already needs to be coming out to Odunze. It's wide open. Everything Ben Johnson dreamt up. But Caleb doesn't understand what his first read is supposed to be. Right? If this had been cover 0 or something like it, where you get one-on-one coverage to the outside with DJ Moore, and there's just nobody in his way for a touchdown, maybe you throw this ball. But understanding that it's zone coverage, right? And we always should have known it was zone coverage. Understanding that it is zone coverage, you have to throw this ball to Odunze. And it has to be early. And even still, like right here, this is 4 frames, right? Okay, you want to look at DJ Moore? Fine. You snap your head, you let go of the ball right now. Not in 2 frames. It's tenths of a second, but it's the entire difference in the game. Or it could be. 4th and 1. You have a play scripted to get your number 1 receiver open. And like, I don't think Rome is the best receiver on the Bears, but he is the guy they use as a number 1. Follow the fucking play. Here's another one. Homie is just bad at throwing the deep ball. It's late. Even if it's a back shoulder, it's still late. It's still too far inside. Right? Like, okay, let's say you think that you've got man coverage across, single high safety. You think that the single high safety is too deep and too far. He can't get home. Fine. DJ Moore is winning this route. Place the ball upfield at like the 30. He puts it at the 40 on the outside. Now, first of all, DJ Moore was winning the route. This should not be back shoulder. It should be down the field. Second of all, if you're going to place it back shoulder, place it on the sideline, not inbounds. This ball's too far inside, right? You want that outside, back shoulder. Not inside shoulder, back, outside shoulder. Terrible placement, terrible ball. It's not even a terrible decision. It's just he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. That's fine. There's a lot going on here. First of all, this is some kind of a funky ass mesh, right? You got like a drag route normal, but then you got like a slant behind it. It's not a regular mesh, so it takes a little bit longer. It doesn't work quite right. You got a free rusher in Caleb's face. There are much better things. Caleb breaks out. And as soon as he breaks out, he should pick his eyes back up and find Luther Burden open on the near sideline. That's not really what Caleb does. He runs until he can't run no more. Again, it's not a bad play at all. But he's just a tad underwhelming. That's the right play. It's just bad accuracy. It would have been a fucking insanely hard throw. right? You got to let that ball go a little earlier, like maybe here, and you would complete it a lot easier. You'd have a lot more room to work with. But I get it. You're running away. See, right there, I would have already had this ball out. By now, it's too late. And he puts it too far on the sideline. Little late, little inaccurate. That's fine. Right? And the whole offense could be this easy. You get your number one receiver, again, not necessarily in merit, but certainly in usage, wide open, uncovered, tons of space. Here, Caleb's in a rhythm. Footwork is insane. That's a very strange way to throw a football, but it's accurate, and that's a great ball. It's a great throw down the field, and I think this is the touchdown. Yeah, that's terrible. That's not the touchdown. Yikes. Touchdowns later. This is a pickable ball. Why? Caleb never looks off of his number one receiver, and he throws a bad ball. You need to lead your receiver up the field, not throw it behind, and he never thought for a second. I'm not saying there was anything necessarily open on this play, but it's a terrible throw. And it's a little too early. You have to give that play a little room to breathe. You have to throw with a little bit of anticipation, lead the receiver in between those two defenders. He put it right on the defender's hip. Right? He didn't even look. He threw that ball blind. This is the great fade that should have been a touchdown, but they took it away for no fucking reason. Now, they said that 79, the left tackle, was too far back into the backfield. He's not even the furthest back into the backfield on this play, right? The right tackle is further back. So that's just utter bullshit call. NFL rigged. Not really. A little bit. Not really. Soft rigged. And then, yeah, it's just a fade route, but perfectly thrown while backpedaling and fading away. I mean, that's really great job. That's awesome shit. Unfortunately, the penalty calls it back, and Caleb doesn't really know what to do. I gotta say, I don't really blame him. The Commanders did a really good job in coverage. They did a really good job of figuring out this play. Right? It was supposed to have a little bit of a... Actually, I don't know what the fucking deal here is. Right? Because I'm not seeing the game. Looks like DJ Moore is just going to run like a streak or maybe like a long-ass button hook. I'm not sure which. And you're going to have Roma Dunze run like a corner over here. Frankly, I don't know what this guy's doing. I didn't pay attention. It doesn't matter. Point is, I don't see how this play results in a touchdown on 3rd and, I think, goal. None of these options are particularly attractive to me. None of them make a ton of sense. Yeah, there's no stick, so it's goal. Which means your only real option is just DJ Moore beat the hell out of your man or Roma Dunze get lucky and moss a guy. Neither of which I think are very viable. Caleb doesn't like what he sees. He tries to extend the play. There's really nowhere to extend the play. Nobody's doing scramble drill. It was not a very good play call. Actually, it's a kind of poor play call. This right here is emblematic of a few issues. So first of all, the ball's supposed to be hitting Roma Dunze in the knees right now, but it's not. Okay, that's fine. It's cover 2. If you want to take the pot shot, in between the corner and the safety over by that NFL logo at the 25-yard line, if you want to hit that, go ahead and hit it. But hit it now. Right now. Instead, Caleb does this like weird, I'm going to run, no I'm not, weird bullshit, and then he tries to throw the ball from a completely sideways profile, and naturally it's way too high. And so instead of running and getting like 4 yards, and instead of throwing originally and getting like 10 yards, he gets nothing, because he couldn't decide between the two. Ball's way too high. Can't be caught. Now, on this play, I saw Bears fans like, oh, it's a bad snap. It's not his fault. No, this is a negative. This is a sack that's on Caleb Williams. It's entirely his fault. And it's goddamn near a fumble. Like, good job to catch it, but I'm not going to give you props for swerving away from hitting somebody while driving drunk. You rectified your own mess, but it is your mess. This ball hits Caleb Williams in both hands. Sure, it's not perfectly centered. Who cares? Catch the ball. He catches the ball, but the play is totally blown up. It looks like they were about to have some kind of like pass run action. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. The play is now dead because you fumbled the snap. Caleb Williams never thinks twice. In fact, he might not even have thought once. It's going to be play action, and then it's really just a two-man route. You're going to have Rome Odunze run the deepest oppo corner. So, 7 route DJ Moore, deep sail corner from Rome Odunze. Play action, roll out, and figure it out from there. It's a two-man route. This guy doesn't matter, this guy doesn't matter. Looks like we might have some form of cover 2 or otherwise middle field open, maybe cover 4. It shouldn't matter if they bite on the play action. It should just be you fuck it, chuck it football to one of those two receivers. Caleb Williams, play action. He boots out. He gets around the rusher. This is where you have to pick your head up and see the field. And, like, yes, Rome Odunze might be open. It is second down, so you can afford to take the deep shot. There's nobody covering DJ Moore. I mean, he's wide open. And again, Caleb hasn't let go of this ball just yet. And I can't rewind like frames, but before Caleb uncorked and like began his throwing motion, because right here he's in the beginnings of his throwing motion. It's not totally, you can't change where you're throwing the ball at this point. But this is where Caleb picks his head up and where he needs to be looking. And right now, already, before he's even stopped, DJ Moore's wide open. Burnt his man to a crisp. Tons of room. And sure, it's not as big a gain in the air as Odunze would be, but it's one man to beat. And DJ Moore is a much more dynamic athlete after the catch. That might be a touchdown. So Caleb right here needs to throw the ball to DJ Moore across the field instead of this launch into double coverage. Rome was never open. He was bracketed the whole time. DJ was wide open. And Caleb is terrible at throwing the deep ball. It's significantly underthrown. That ball needs to be another 5 yards deeper and another 5 yards to the sideline. And that's almost pickable. You could argue that should have been intercepted. Don't believe me? Watch the tight copy. Again, right here when Caleb sets up, he can still aim. He can still start his throw. It is clear that there are two men swarming to Rome Odunze. It is clear that there is nobody who can catch DJ Moore. Throw the ball to DJ Moore. He won't. And that ball hangs up there. Rome Odunze is turned into a punt returner. And watch number 20. He gets two hands on this ball. Easily could have been picked. Another inaccurate deep ball. Here, Caleb actually just follows the fucking play. All right, it's essentially a long screen. 14 and 2 are blocking downfield to the extent that it is legal to do so. And they're just saying, DeAndre Swift, go make something. And he does. He makes everything. Bears are alive. 2-point conversion. Oh, buddy. Now, again, Caleb Williams is not properly identifying the original first read. Throw out the word original, that was redundant. So, you got motion across, right? You got Cole Kmet. He goes in motion. Nobody moves. We know it's zone. Look, it doesn't get much simpler than assuming that with this front, a 4-man front, with no motion, you probably just have Tampa 2 or some variation of it. The play is really simple. Kmet is going to come off of his motion and run a little zig, a little 7. Right? His job is to run to this defender, engage him, and then run away from him. You're going to have a little drag from Luther Burden just to clear shit out. Right? You just want to make sure that this linebacker is preoccupied. The bottom of the screen, you're going to have a little hook by Zacchaeus and a fade by Rome, just in case everything goes to hell, throw it up to Rome. And then the piece de resistance, the entire point of the play is you're going to have your running back get to the flat. Now, the way this works, and by the way, it will eventually be cover 2, just like I guessed. This defender is everything. Right? This whole play is predicated by these 3 things. 1, 85, the tight end, Cole Kmet, is going to run to this circled defender and engage him. Either the defender will go with 85 and you throw the ball to the running back behind him, the red flat, or he will not bite. He will take the running back and you throw the ball to 85, Cole Kmet, easy touchdown. It is literally one man circled trying to cover these 2 routes that are moving in opposite directions. It could not be much easier than this. And yet, Caleb will fuck it up. Right here, already the play has already been decided. 23, Marshawn Lattimore has taken 1 step with the tight end. You throw the ball to the running back. He's cooked. He can't catch up. Touchdown. Easy peasy. Even still, late as fuck, Caleb has completely missed the read, and it's still there. You can still take that for an easy touchdown. Caleb wants to run around. Why? There wasn't really any pressure. Utter and complete failure to execute the play. Bad pocket management, bad understanding of his first read, bad understanding of the offense. He may understand what his progression is supposed to be. He may understand I'm supposed to look Kmet 85 to Manungai 25. He may know, all right, 85-25, 85-25 in his head, but he doesn't understand why it works. He doesn't understand the timing. He does not understand the play. Utter and complete failure. Took 2 points off the board so he could run around and do stupid shit. If I'm Ben Johnson, I'm pulling my hair out. I designed a brilliant play. It worked. It should get us the fucking lead, and this dude can't execute. Why? Why? That's good. You know, it's his only read. Routine throw. It's fine. That's good, right? Ben Johnson creates a really smart play. Again, they're flooding one side of the field. So, like, DJ Moore is going to run a sail. And you're going to have some shit going on over here. And I don't know, whatever. I don't know if those are the proper routes, but they're all moving this way. And then you just sneak Zacchaeus on the backside. Now, first of all, that instead of Zacchaeus, make that Luther Burden. He's way better after the catch. Second of all, I don't know, maybe Luther Burden doesn't drop the easiest fucking pass of all time. That's perfect ball by Caleb Williams. That's a routine throw, but holy fuck, was it going to get a lot of yardage if it had just been executed properly. Finally, in the 4th quarter, Caleb Williams actually hits one of these little hook curls. Good for the Bears. Not good enough, right? They didn't get the first down, but whatever. Luckily, Jaden Daniels fumbles, and here's the last pass play of the game. Nothing to it. Super routine throw, super soft coverage. You couldn't fuck it up if you wanted to. Accurate enough. Like I said, Caleb just leaves a lot to be desired. There are tons of plays that have really huge potential, and either because he's late or he doesn't understand what he's looking at, or he just misses, he fails to provide the Bears with 100 cents on the dollar. Overall, having watched every snap this season, every snap last season, and grading 11 of his games at USC, I don't think that Caleb Williams can be a great quarterback, and I really am starting to fear that he can't be a good one. This is a really easy offense with great weapons, and he's had pretty solid protection despite what Chicago fans would love to tell you. He just has brain farts, and he's not very accurate, and his footwork is terrible, and he can't throw the deep ball. You put those together, and I don't see how it gets better. I don't know, you tell me, am I overreacting? Explain why. A lot of Bears fans are really upset with this evaluation, but point to where I'm wrong, right? Let's talk civilly about ball, and if you can't, then just start finding ways to cope with the fact that your great offensive coach is going to be saddled with a mediocre at best quarterback for the foreseeable future. Until next time, I'll be grinding film. Sorry.